Hi Yogi, welcome to class. Let's get started today in a comfortable seat for our meditation. I like to sit crisscross applesauce. You might prefer kneeling, you might prefer to lean your back against a wall. Wherever you are, just making sure that it's comfortable. And we'll start by taking a simple breath in. And then sighing it out. And as you do that, letting the body begin to settle down into your support. A few more big breaths with full exhales. Letting the face relax, letting the neck relax and the shoulders drop away from the ears. Now begin to regulate the breathing so that the inhales are about as long as the exhales. Feeling the belly rise and fall. And let the body breathing be your main point of focus. The thoughts will come in, but instead of focusing on the thoughts, focus on the space between them. So that each thought becomes less important, less salient. This relaxed but alert posture of watching. You're welcome to keep your eyes closed or open them. We're going to begin some circles with the hips. So the hands can stay on the knees, and we're just going to make some clockwise circles with the torso over the hips. Keeping the breathing even and smooth. And then we'll switch directions. So throughout this flow today, we are going to mobilize the spine through all of its ranges of motion in a very accessible way, so that we're not introducing extra tension in the spine, but actually freeing up our mobility, our range of motion, so that we can live more fulfilled and free lives. Good. Come to some stillness. We're going to take the hands to the heart and begin our class with the chant of Om, inhaling through the nose. Exhale, let it ring out. Om. Open your eyes and let's just begin some wrist warm up. So with the hands together, we're going to bring the fingers to point back towards the chest and then pointing them away, keeping the elbows wide. Pressing the fingers together so that all the knuckles are straight. And then we'll make this circle. So if this was like a rainbow, we're going to make this into a full circle, taking the fingers towards the chest and then flipping the hands over so the backs of the hands come together. And then doing the same thing with the backs of the hands together. So fingers point towards the chest and away, elbows stay wide. Good, fingers point away and then bringing the palms back together. And maybe we combine these two movements, making a full circle. And then switching the direction. Good. Let's come to a tabletop position. Spread your fingers really wide here and take the center of the palms underneath each shoulder. Feel for spreading through the palm while gripping slightly with the fingertips so that the hand muscles turn on. Gentle cat-cows to start. We'll inhale, finding cow. Think about spreading your sitting bones wide and dropping the center of your chest down towards the floor. Lift the crown of the head. And then exhale, press the floor away and reverse those movements. So the tailbone points down, crown of the head points down. And the center of your being, your third chakra, Manipura, drawing up towards the sky. And then inhale, reverse. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And this time, bring the hips back towards the heels. Don't let them touch. We'll inhale, come forward, cow. And then again, exhale, cat. This time, tapping the hips towards the heels. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Tucking the toes, finding downward facing dog. You can keep your knees bent for this one. Pedaling out the legs, just finding gentle movement in the muscles of the back of the leg. Letting the sides of the neck be long and loose. Elongating through both waists. Good. Bring the feet to center. Come up high on the toes, and then bend the right knee only. And take your chest towards the right thigh. Gaze underneath the right armpit. Inhale back to center, and then exhale other side. Bend the left knee. Chest comes towards left thigh. Gaze under the left armpit. Again, inhale. Tiptoes, exhale right. Inhale, tiptoes, exhale left. One more each side. Good, finding your downward facing dog, feet hip width distance. Let's walk the hands back towards the feet. Bend the knees a lot. Let the chest rest on the thighs. Let your head hang down, and maybe grabbing opposite elbows behind the thighs. You can sway your body here. Release the hands, slowly roll all the way up to a standing position. Big breath in at the top, and then exhale, Tadasana, mountain. Rooting down through all four corners of your feet. And feeling the arches of the feet lifting slightly. Inner thighs begin to firm. Spreading the collarbones and letting the shoulder blades spread. Let's sweep the arms up overhead. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. And then exhale into Utkatasana, chair pose. Sending the hips back, lowering the chest over the thighs to start. So we're in this thunderbolt shape. And then instead of keeping chest parallel to thighs, we're going to lift the chest up. So we're coming into a back bend here. Stick your booty way back. See if you can draw the navel point in and up and pull the ribs down slightly. They are going to spread to bring the arms overhead. Keeping the weight in all four corners of the feet if you can. Good, yogis, breathe here. And then fold, exhale. Inhale, walking to the top of the mat. Let's find plank pose. So again, spreading the fingers really wide. Center of the palm under the shoulders. The hips are in line with the shoulders, or I guess they're actually slightly below the shoulders, but you're making a straight line with your back body, ideally. Lifting the back of the head up so we're not dropping the head. And think about closing off the front of your chest by hugging the rib cage in. Long line of energy from the crown of the head through the tailbone, through the heels. Pressing the heels back, legs are engaged, arms are engaged. Hugging the thigh muscles to the thigh bones. Breathe. Good, drop your knees down and lower down onto the belly. We'll find some gentle back bending here. Low cobra to start, hands underneath the shoulders. Take the forehead down, untuck your toes, press into the tops of the feet lightly, and then we'll inhale, curl the chest off the mat. And exhale, lower the forehead back down. Legs are engaged. Inhale, curling the chest off of the mat, shoulder heads out of the ears. Gaze is soft, exhale, lower. Again, inhale, low cobra. This one, let's hold. Can you hover your hands a little bit? And maybe you can lift your feet as well. Gaze is soft, the back of the neck is nice and long. Good, lower the hands, lower the feet, lower the head. Tuck your toes underneath. We're going to press up to a plank pose here, pulling the belly in to start so we support the spine. And we'll press down into the hands to lift the body up, inhale. And exhale, downward facing dog. Good job, yogis. Let's take a few breaths in down dog. Step your feet together. Inhale, lift your right leg high. And then exhale, stack your right hip on top of the left. And maybe you want to bend that right knee, bring the right heel in towards your butt crack. Your gluteal cleft, that's the anatomic term. Your right heel to your gluteal cleft. Inhale back to three-legged dog, squaring off your hips. And then exhale, bring the right knee into the nose. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, bring the knee into the nose, shoulders over the wrists. Press into your hands so your shoulder blades separate, and creating more space between the chest and the floor. And then maybe you can sneak that right foot in between the hands. Runner's lunge, coming up onto fingertips, maybe onto fists here. Extending back through the left heel and forward through crown of the head. I want you to think about drawing the right hip back so that the hips stay nice and square and the right inner thigh turns on. Hugging the belly up off of the right thigh. Placing the left hand down inside the right foot, sweep the right arm high, twist. Look at your right thumb if you can. You might drop the left ear down if there's too much tension in the neck. Oh, that feels nice. Look down at the floor. Let's rise up to a crescent lunge. Right hand comes down. Pressing down into the feet, think about scissoring your inner thighs in towards one another. Squeezing up through pelvic floor, we're lifting, and then extend the arms up towards the sky. Let's take one big inhale here. Exhale, stay. Good, inhale. And then exhale, let's find our plank pose. Right foot back. One breath in plank, firming your thighs, firming up the core, and nice and relaxed through the neck. Fingertips are gripping the mat slightly. We'll inhale. Exhale, this time Chaturanga Dandasana. So trying to keep the elbows over the wrists, tilting the shoulders forward, feeling the fingertips grip here, and then lowering the chest down, bending the elbows to 90 degrees. Gaze stays down. We'll inhale, up dog. You might press the toes back to flip onto the tops of the feet. Press into the tops of the feet, lift the crown of the head, and then exhale, down dog. So if you want to flip over your toes, we'll think about lifting through the core. So from the hip crease especially, lifting through the hip crease to get lighter on the toes. Maybe you can drag the toes forward, creating some room to flip over the tops of the feet. You may drag your mat with you like I did. Good. Back in our down dog, step the toes together, and we'll inhale, lifting the left leg high on the inhale. And then exhale, stacking the hips, and maybe bending the left leg. Any motion with the ankle is fine. Inhale back to center, and then exhale, knee to chest. Hollow out the belly. Inhale, three-legged dog, left heel high. Exhale, knee to nose. Press the floor away, create the space to step through. Runner's lunge. Coming onto the fingertips or the fists, we'll inhale, get nice and long, finding that long line. Hugging the belly off of the left thigh, pressing back through the right heel, right glute muscle turns on. Finding your breath. Firming the inner thighs. Let's find our twist. Right hand stays down, left arm sweeps up to the sky. Again, option to drop the right ear down, releasing tension from the neck. Look down at the floor. We'll rise up to our crescent lunge from here. Left fingertips find the floor to start. Find your legs. So we want a solid foundation. If our foundation is no good, the rest of the pose won't be stable, won't be fully integrated. So rooting down through all four corners of the front foot, pressing back through the back heel to turn on all the muscles of your right leg. Lift your pelvic floor, lift your torso, and then extend the arms up. Active through the arms. Belly drawing in and up. Collarbone spread, shoulder blades spread. And then we'll exhale, plant the hands, step the left foot back, plank pose, inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Let's sigh together, inhaling through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Good. Let's do all that again. We'll add on a little bit more. Stepping the feet together, we'll lift the right leg high. Inhale. Exhale, stack the hips. Maybe bending that top knee. Good. Inhale back to center. Exhale, knee to nose. Three-legged dog. Inhale. Exhale, step the right foot through. Runner's lunge. Inhale. Exhale, let's stay here. Inhale, open arm twist. Exhale, stay. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, sinking down into it. Good. Hands come to the hips. Let's step the left foot in a little bit, finding our pyramid pose. So widening the stance like you're standing on two railroad tracks. Hands stay on the hips to keep them square. Squeeze the elbows back towards each other behind you. Pull the belly in. Inhale, look up. And then exhale, fold. And as you fold, drawing the right hip point back, left hip point forward. You can use your right fingertips to guide the right hip point back, keeping the elbow squeezing back and reaching down through the crown of your head. Really strong through the legs. Inhale, look up. Exhale here, halfway lifted. We'll kind of come into our Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3 from here. So we'll bend the left or the right knee slightly, and we're going to launch off of the back leg so that it lifts into the sky. So transferring the weight into the right foot, we'll lift the left leg high. See if you can straighten both legs. Can you look at your left toes here and make sure they're pointing down? So mine are pointing slightly out to the left. I'm going to curl the toes down, and what's happening here is internal rotation of my left thigh bone. So that's what we're looking for. And then can you think about internally rotating your right thigh bone too? Good. Now maybe you extend the arms overhead. Not an easy pose. Good. Let's take one more breath here. You can do it. Good. Half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. The right fingers will find the floor right in front of the right foot and slightly off to the right. So like the top right corner of the mat, roughly. This time we're going to stack the hips, so an open hipped position. Just like we did in our downward facing dog when we stacked the hips. Flex through the left toes, and then we're going to stack the shoulders here too. So the left shoulder on top of the right, and maybe you can peel the left arm up to the sky, and maybe you take the gaze up to the left thumb. That's challenging to do. Try to keep the neck relaxed, Engage your core. Good work, everybody. Coming into warrior two, take your gaze down, bend the right knee, and step the left foot all the way to the back of the mat. Arms come up to a T. And exhale, let's just sink down into this pose. Sturdy through your arm bones, gaze over the front middle finger. Let's inhale. Exhale together. Inhale, let's reverse our warrior. Flip the front palm over and take the right hand up and over. So laterally bending the spine here. Good, back to warrior two on the inhale. Exhale, side angle pose. Right thigh, right elbow to right thigh, left arm overhead. Roll your chest open, press down and away through your back foot. Sturdy through the front foot. Look down at the floor. Plant the hands down to frame the right foot. Option for Vinyasa, or option two, skip this Vinyasa and move right to down dog. So the Vinyasa sequence was developed for a few reasons, but it's thought to neutralize the spine. So it's done in between more complicated postures to bring the spine back into alignment, straight up and down. So it's a good thing to do between these more complex poses where the spine may be moving in multiple directions. And that's why we're using it today. Feet are together at the back of the mat. Let's lift the left leg high. You are doing so good. This will be our last round. Exhale, stack the left hip. Think about your crescent moon here, your half moon. So the hips are stacked. You might bend the top knee. And then coming back to your three-legged dog. And exhale, knee to nose. Hollow out the belly. Inhale, three-legged dog, left leg high as you can. Exhale, knee to nose, and then step the foot through. Runner's lunge, let's inhale. And exhale. Inhale for your twist. Firm up the back glute muscle, back thigh muscle. And exhale, stay. Inhale for crescent lunge. And exhale, again, stay. Hands come to the hips. We'll find our pyramid pose on the second side. Stepping the back foot in, opening up the stance. Hands are on the hips. We're going to lead with the heart here, keeping the spine nice and long. Inhale, belly draws in. Exhale, fold. Pull your elbows back behind you. Lead with your heart. Guide your left hip point back so the hip stays square. Look up. Come up halfway and then exhale here. Preparing for Virabhadrasana 3. Keeping the shoulders out of your ears. We'll bend the left leg, shifting the weight into the left foot to lift the right leg high. Take a look at your back toes. Again, pointing the toes down towards the floor requires internal rotation of your back leg. And then see if you can create that in the standing leg also so that the inner thigh is firm. Maybe adding the arms, belly drawing in. You got this. Half moon. Left hand comes down, stacking the right hip on top of the left, flexing the right toe. And let's peel the right arm up to the sky so the hips stack and our shoulders stack. You might look at your top thumb. Use your core. From here, we're moving into our warrior two. Take the gaze down to the floor, bend your front knee, and gently step the right foot to the back of the mat. Landing with the front heel in line with the back arch, and sinking down into the pose. Let's reverse this warrior. Flip your front palm over. Take the left arm up and overhead. I'm drawing a rainbow in the sky. Think about drawing the right hip back behind you. Another open-hipped posture. Good, coming back through Warrior Two, we'll find our side angle. Left thigh, left elbow on the left thigh, right arm reaches up and maybe overhead, spinning the top pinky finger down. Look down at the floor. Take the hands down to frame the front foot. Step back into Vinyasa or right to down dog. Sigh out of the mouth on your exhale. Really good work, everybody. Let's take just one more standing posture. We'll reach the right leg high. Inhale. Actually, I changed my mind. Lift your left leg high on the inhale. And then exhale, step the left foot between your hands. Rise all the way up into horse pose, so facing the edge of your mat. We lead a lot with the right leg in Vinyasa style classes, and so it's nice to sometimes switch it up and lead with left. So horse pose, we'll turn the heels in, toes out, extending the arms up overhead, looking at your thumbs. Good, and from here we're going to take this into a goddess squat, bending through the knees, and then taking the thumbs towards the heart. So in our effort to really mobilize the spine, we've gone through all of the different ranges of motion, and now I just want to kind of honor a few more that tend to be a little bit underused, especially for me. So the hands are going to come to the thighs, fingertips pointing down. And then we're going to dip the right shoulder down, looking over the left shoulder. And then coming back to center, other side. So kind of wringing out the upper back here. Feels really nice. Well, it feels nice for me. I hope it feels nice for you too. Good, let's come back to goddess with the hands at the heart. Inhale for horse. And then turning the toes in, heels out, exhale, forward fold, wide-legged forward fold. You can do anything you want with your hands. Good, inhale halfway up, and then exhale here. Pivot to face the front of your mat, and step into downward facing dog. Good, so now it's time for everyone's favorite posture, which signals the cool down, pigeon pose. Let's lift the right leg high on the inhale. And then exhale, draw the right knee in between the hands. Untuck the back toes and settle down. You can begin with the hands in towards the body, sitting upright. And then you may fold forward. You can stay in your folded swan or pigeon, it's also called, if you'd like. Or for the last few breaths, I invite you to take a quad stretch, which is also called mermaid or Ekapada Raja Kapotasana. So we'll take the right hand into the center of the mat, bending the left knee and reaching back for the left foot. From here, you might nestle the foot into the crook of the elbow. If you're in mermaid, think about sending the right hip back, left hip forward, squaring the shoulders to the front of the mat, and then releasing. You're going to roll onto the right hip, lift the left leg up and over, and stepping the left foot outside of the right thigh. Left hand comes behind the back. Let's inhale, lift the right arm high. And exhale, hugging the right knee into the chest. We'll find a twist towards the left. Looking towards the top of the mat. We're just going to switch sides from here. So we'll sweep the right leg to the back of the mat, setting up for pigeon on the other side. Hands are at the top of the mat. You can just wiggle the left knee in between the hands. Make sure that you're sitting squarely on your hips, on the front of the pelvis, that the back leg is extended straight behind you. And then option to fold or stay lifted in your pigeon. Good, staying right where you are, or maybe you want to try mermaid on this side. Left hand in the middle of the mat. Bend the right knee, reach for the right foot, and maybe you can hook the foot into the elbow, and then turning back to face the front of the mat. Gently release the back foot. Hands come down, roll onto the left hip, sweep the right leg forward. Step the right foot outside the left thigh for your twist. Matsyendrasana. Right hand behind the back, left arm reaches up. Inhale, exhale, twist. Look forward on the inhale. Exhale, release. We're just going to make our way onto our backs from here. So scooching the butt forward, laying down. We'll find two bridge poses. Option to add a wheel pose instead, Urdhva Dhanurasana. For a bridge pose, hands come down by the sides, pressing down again into all four corners of the mat. And then I want you to think about a slight energetic tugging back of the heels to turn on your hamstrings. Good. Think about spinning the inner thighs down, belly button draws in and up, and then lifting the hips. It's a lot to remember. So feet, hamstrings, inner thighs, core. And coming back down. An option to move into wheel pose here or take another bridge pose. Wheel pose, it's going to be the same setup as bridge. We want that strong foundation in the legs and in the core. And then just mobilizing the upper back, adding the last piece, which is the arms. And coming down when you're ready. Let's draw the knees into the chest. Rock from side to side. Giving yourself a little bit of extra love before Shavasana. Good. And let's extend the legs out. Coming into our final rest. Opening up wide, taking up space. We'll take a breath in together. Exhale. And let your body surrender to gravity. Yogis, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure being on the mat with you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.